this is Marina from Darkstar Astrology, bringing you the new moon on April the 5th, which falls at 15 degrees of Aries. Now, it's going to be aligned with the fixed star Alperax in Andromeda, the chained princess. It's also going to be trine Ceres, while Saturn and Pluto are sandwiching the South Node at 22 Capricorn. Now, this moon has no special dignity and will generally run counter to popular culture, since the moon usually rules what's popular. So this moon is a protector and warrior rather than the conventional nurturer. So this Spartan new moon teaches us then to be strong and independent, and we will reject people or projects that appear too needy. At this new moon, the family may well be seen as a shackle, especially for those who like to keep active and travel light. We may find it very hard to put down roots, as this energy makes us the proverbial rolling stone who gathers no moss. So the new moon's on Alperax, which is the largest star of this decan, and along with Alderamin, sums up this zone rather well. It's yet another one of those royal family stars and falls in the head of Princess Andromeda, who was the chained princess. Now, Alperax also connects with the adjacent flying horse, Pegasus's wing, and there's a great feeling of having just been released from jail and wanting to go wild in flight. The name in Arabic actually means the horse's navel due to the star's position, and it does feel like the cutting of the umbilical cord. Now, the star actually used to be called Umbilicus Andromedae, and Robson says of this star that it gives independence, freedom, love, riches, honours, and a keen intellect. So the myth goes that Princess Andromeda was chained to a rock by her father Cepheus to appease Neptune and save his kingdom. In the end, it was agreed that if brave Perseus rescued the princess, he could win her hand in marriage. So Andromeda is the original damsel in distress. So the Ebertons, the fixed star astrologers, say that this star in connection with the angles, sun or moon, can give great popularity because of its pleasing, harmonious nature. But strangely, they give a caution to Alperax with the sun, which it actually is because it's a new moon, as the person who can easily be toppled over if they're not careful. However, the sun in Aries is also exalted, so all I can imagine is that if it's placed too close to Alperax, the sun can become too big for its boots. What got Andromeda into trouble in the first place was her mother's arrogance and boasting, so one must be careful here that the sins of the fathers are not visited upon the children. So the Picatrix says that the second face of Aries is a woman dressed in green clothes having one leg. This is a face of high rank, nobility, wealth and rulership. So that kind of ties in with the Princess Andromeda as well. The new moon aspects, just very briefly, I'll just do these quickly, is that the moon trine Ceres gives luck and the ability to bounce back from tragedy. Fortunes tends to fluctuate from one extreme to another. We will be able to take it all in our stride, saved by the ability to see the funny side of life. Yes, there is a funny side of life. I'll talk about that later. A sense of humour will get us out of the stickiest of situations, but there is a dark edge to the comedy too. So the tarot card associated with this decan is the Three of Wands. Now, karmically, this card's primary meaning is that of travel and liberating yourself from a painful situation in a past life. You can see that now the season has established itself. Aries decan 2 is secure in itself and ready to shine. So Teach Me Tarot says, tarot, it's tarot, isn't it? I keep saying tarot. Teach Me Tarot says, whatever you have been working on has taken off and the results are beginning to show. The future looks bright and rosy from where you are standing. The Three of Wands brings with it a sense of personal power and becoming aware of your place in the world. It is a time of wonderful growth and personal development. You are ready to spread your wings and take on the whole world. So that, again, that goes really nicely with Alperax. The connection with Pegasus and flying in a positive way The yellow spinel is the crystal that I chose for this new moon healing, and it fits very well with the themes. Now, spinel comes in many colours, but the yellow version is rare and will cost more than the others. But not to worry, once you have it, you should attract more cash, so it says here. So Gem City says that the spinel crystal brings high energy to all efforts in all realms. It's known to attract money, wealth, social well-being and prosperity. The high energy of the spinel birthstone in an inner world brings energy up from Mother Earth and empowers our spiritual quests, eventually taking us to our best destinies. So yeah, the connection with Mother Earth, I chose that because of Ceres being the aspect. It's also good for releasing us from negative ancestral traits, and that's Andromeda, the connection of her boastful mother. It's an excellent anti-spite crystal against family jealousy and old rivalries that spill over into adulthood, and for reducing over-competitiveness between adult siblings that may get carried over to the next generation. So wear yellow spinel for family events that you're dreading with your narcissistic mothers and golden child siblings. So that's from Cassandra Eason. And finally, Healing with Crystals say that the sunny yellow of this stone is a natural antidepressant. It encourages optimism and brings strength to keep going one day at a time in difficult periods in your life. For naturally pessimistic people, you should wear this yellow spinel to counterbalance gloom. So the summary, this is a new moon of contradictions as Aries does not plan for the future and lives very much in the now. The trine from Ceres brings a fascination with history and a concern for their descendants. The myth of Andromeda fits very well with these opposing factors. So at the time we are looking excitedly into the future while other factors are asking us to take stock of the past. It is also about learning from history and not letting bad history repeat itself. So the tarot card suggests liberation from karmic ties of a past life, while Andromeda herself was released from her chains by the brave hero Perseus. And he's really such an Aries heroic archetype as well. So at this new moon, we realise that while it's important to respect our roots and our family, we are not doomed to repeat their worst traits. Andromeda was chained to a rock, and this can also symbolise rigid behaviour patterns ingrained over generations. This new moon comes after the spring equinox, so it's the newest moon of the year and just perfect for wiping the slate clean. So I thought, yeah, you know what, I might as well just read the whole thing because some people like that. And I did it in 8 minutes, so that's pretty good. What I'm going to do, I think, because I miss having my rants, and I think the new moon's a good place to stick them in at the end, because if you just want to hear the astrology, that was it. So any easily offended people or people that just want the astrology, nothing else, no propaganda, you can leave now. Bye. All right, so the rest of you, if you're still here, grab a cup of tea. I just thought I'd just answer a few things this week, because I realised a lot of the time before when I was doing these, I was just so precious. I was so worried about what I said that I went through it afterwards, and listened to it and made sure I didn't say anything offensive or something that will get me banned from YouTube or blah, blah, blah. So that takes time. But if I just record it as I go, and if I think, oh, that sounded a bit off, I can just go back and, and pause it and go and erase it as I go. So that's easy. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. But I'm just going to answer. I cannot believe this. I had a comment saying, and I didn't even realize I used this word. It's so automatic. It's such an old exclamation word that we use in England. I thought it was just a substitute for the word God. It's like gosh, right? It's not gosh. And maybe I can't say it because is it a trigger word for Google? I don't know. But the word is, apparently this is racist and offensive because slaves were called this, all right? This is news to me. It's the word Golly. Now, yes, in England, there was a doll that was called that with the word W-O-G at the end, which I know is offensive. So I used it in the sense of, gosh, really? But I used the other word that apparently you can't use now. And this is exactly what I want to talk about, is just, again, the way that they are shutting people and basically stopping people just speaking is by branding certain words taboo and evil, and that you have some kind of internal hate for certain people by using words that are just automatic, that have been used for generations. So I thought, hang on, am I just really old-fashioned and I've just been using a word, like in the olden days, in the 30s, the word gay was used to describe something pretty, like, oh, those are such gay flowers. And if I said that now, and if I said it about, I don't know, if I meant it in a derogatory way, like, oh, those flowers are too gay to be used with this dress, it would mean that they were too, I don't know, brightly coloured, or those flowers are too gay to use in a funeral. Now, some people might say, oh God, that's really homophobic because you're using it in a sort of negative sense by saying they're too gay. But that word in the old days meant brightly coloured or happy or whatever. So the word, the word I used for me was just like an exclamation. That's how I've always seen it. I've never seen it as an insult, and I don't think it is. I think this person is just being a freaking NCP troll. So I just deleted the comment, but it was up for a while, but nobody sort of took them up on it. So I just wanted to reply here, and I don't want to get done for hate speech by using a perfectly innocent word that meant, and if you look it up, well, I'll look it up here. Yeah, the first thing that comes up, all right, I can say it, golly, okay? The first word that comes up if you search it on Google it's exclamation, informal, used to express surprise or delight. So, what? So since when, even Google says it's all right, so it must be okay. So this is what I'm dealing with, what anyone's dealing with. If somebody wants to have a go at you, they'll pick any little thing that you say. So you know what, this is in a way, thank you person who got very picky over one little word that I didn't mean it in that sense at all. It was to express surprise, okay? I'm not going to worry about editing myself anymore, because if it's got to the point where someone's going to be offended by even a word that's actually approved by Google or the dictionary, then toddle off. Go away. No, I don't need that. I don't need it. I don't need subscribers who are that triggered, because I want to be able to relax and I don't want to have to spend time editing. It's time that is wasted. So the more I can just let rip and the world doesn't cave in. I mean, this does go back to my childhood, as you know, narcissistic mother issues, and always having to watch what you say, and actually not even being allowed to speak, So for me, this is a therapeutic just to rant, and if it bothers some people, then like I said, it's at the end of the new moons. You know when it's starting, you can just cut off if you want. It's fine, and if you want to stay and listen to me blabble on for longer, then you can. Then that's nice. I know I've got people who are on the same page. So there you are. That's what I wanted to say. That's my topic for this week. And it's kind of a good opportunity because these come out every 2 weeks, so you can just catch up with the latest stuff that's going on in the world, and there's the latest craziness that is going on in the world. And on a similar topic, apparently Sargon of Akkad brought this up. A film studies teacher mentioned a line from the film, Trainspotting, where it was basically an insult from, I think it was the Welsh to Scottish people, saying that English people were wankers or something. Okay, I'm not saying that English people are wankers. You know how I feel about English people. I'm quoting a guy quoting from a film. But apparently he got done for hate speech. So now you've got to watch what you're quoting, because then people say, well, why did you choose that quote? You're inadvertently racist against English people. Now, the thing is, in England, and this is another point that Sargon of Akkad made, there are so many jokes about, it's always an Englishman, a Welshman and a Scottish man go into a bar, and it always, or an Englishman, an Irishman and a Scottish man go into the bar, and the differences between them are always really clear in the joke, and there's some truth in them, you know, and it's funny, and there's always going to be, you know, a derogatory side of all of them. Like the English will always be, the stereotype of English people will always be taking the piss out of Scottish people and Irish people. But there's always been that banter between the ethnic groups in Britain. And it goes back in time for so long, and it's part of the tradition. So if hate speech is going to affect that, this is joke and sense of humour. It's going to be what, we can't even laugh anymore. I mean, I know, you know, there used to be sexist jokes, there used to be mother-in-law jokes, and, you know, things have moved on from there. But still, there has to be a line somewhere. It's going to the point where you can't even joke about a truth, because you know, there's always some kind of truth in some of these humours. Otherwise, they wouldn't be funny, really, I don't think. And related to that is the banning of memes. Yes, if we go into the European Union, there's this Article 13, which again, I haven't researched this, so I might have got this wrong a little bit, but I just saw it as tweeted on Twitter, and this is the point, I guess, is that things can be just tweeted very quickly, and you're not really sure how accurate it is. But, and you haven't really got time to research everything to see if it's accurate or not as well. So, but apparently this Article 13 is about memes. And I would imagine it would be offensive visual jokes that may be offensive. It's not enough to have words that are insulting. Now it's like memes as well. Honestly, I just think it's really sad. But what it's doing is making people on edge, and they can't relax, they can't socialise, they can't tell blue jokes, they used to be called, you know, rude jokes, or just let rip sometimes, because it's cathartic. They're words, they're not violent, they're not actual physical violence. And I would argue that the more you suppress the word, and the more you suppress people just kind of letting rip when they get pissed, or pissed in England is drunk, sorry. See, that's another thing, you know, words get confused. If you start doing that with the word, then it's going to suppress things, and then people will have no choice but to sort of gag themselves, and then that's a kind of pressure. It's like a pressure cooker, and then in the end they'll just get violent because they've been suppressed for so long. That's just normal. It's normal for human beings to want to let rip sometimes. It's a normal thing to be angry, and all this suppression, especially of the word, because everyone knows that words are spells, and if you start having control over the language, you have the control over the mind. So that's what's going on. And that was my rant for today. So thanks for listening. And if you want to go to Darkstar Astrology and see the original post, there's a link below. The report for April is out as well, and it features the conjunction of Pluto and Saturn with the South Node. And I've also done in the monthly horoscopes what that means for each sign individually as well. So I'm not going to do a YouTube video for that anymore, but just go to the website and it's all there, and the monthly horoscopes, the full versions, and that's it. So until next time, thanks for listening. Bye bye.